Man, I do not know how Gerard Butler continuously has the ability to make the most mediocre movie trailers. Not that it's him putting together these trailers, but most of the trailers for all Gerard Butler movies are mediocre to complete ass, and they do not leave me interested in the film whatsoever. But for whatever reason, anytime I watch those films, they end up being a lot better than I expected. Like, for example, Greenland, when that movie came out, I thought the trailers for that movie was absolutely terrible. Didn't want to watch the movie at all. Ended up watching it. Actually wasn't half bad as I thought. All those Has Fallen movies, Olympus, London, Angel, blah blah blah, all those Has Fallen movies, the trailers were, well, Olympus Has Fallen, the trailer was okay. The rest of those trailers for those movies just look repetitive and, the same shtick that they were doing in the previous movies, but they actually end up being pretty decent, entertaining action films. Geostorm, nothing could have saved Geostorm, but here we are again with Gerard Butler just being able to pull off what I'm going to call as the impossible, because never in my life have I seen so many mediocre trailers add up to being actually pretty decent films. It makes no sense whatsoever, but ladies and gentlemen, we have Plane. Hey guys, this is your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for Plane, starring Leonidas, Luke Cage, Fitzgerald Grant, aka Mr. President from Scandal, and Daniela Pinera. I don't necessarily have her tied to any particular character. She is in a show I'm watching right now called Home Economics, so if you watch that on ABC, that's where she's from. But when I see those three actors, Mike Colter, Gerard Butler, Tony Goldwyn, I tie them to those characters there. But look, nonetheless, our film was directed by Jean-Francois Richet. Hopefully I'm saying that right, because that is a very French name. But our plot follows this airline pilot who, after flying through a very treacherous storm and is able to land the plane in this very mysterious area, he has to find help from the United States and try to get his passengers safely back home with the help of Mike Colter, who was a prisoner brought onto this flight. He has no choice but to get the help of him and try to find a way to get these passengers off this island. That is our very simple premise here. And as dumb as I thought this movie was going to be, ladies and gentlemen, it actually turned out to be a lot better than I thought. Like I said, Gerard Butler, for whatever reason, has this ability to make very mediocre trailers, or I'll say mediocre premises, because he's not necessarily putting these trailers together, so it's not his fault that these movies are presented to us like complete crap. But the trailers nonetheless are presented to us that way, and Gerard Butler is able to make those mediocre premises turn out to be very decent movies. I'm not necessarily referring to Geostorm or Gods of Egypt, but anything else he's been in, he has the ability to do that, and he's done it once again, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I have no idea why I love this movie as much. I do know why, but I was just in complete shock when I walked out of this theater, because I was trying to figure out why I enjoyed that so much. Like, it didn't make any sense. I was walking in literally ready to completely shit on this movie. Like, I was ready to watch a bad film, and I love bad movies sometimes, so I was ready to enjoy myself and just crap on Gerard Butler. But instead, I actually enjoyed thoroughly what I was watching. I was very entertained, and so with that being said, let's just get to the good, because there's surprisingly a decent amount of it. So instead of this movie taking the complete, dumb shoot-'em-up action route, which granted it is still a shoot-'em-up action movie, but what I mean is, like, they're not doing the unrealistic stuff. Like, they're not just shooting their way out of this island. They're not necessarily just blowing things up for no particular reason. No, the action in this film is very much earned throughout the film itself, and the reason is because the stakes are so high. This movie does a great job in not only setting up multiple scenarios that not necessarily feel like a movie situation. It actually feels like it's some simulation of some sort, like an actual scenario you could actually be put in, and they play this movie out as if you were actually in this actual situation. And I love how much they actually took it very seriously. They took this premise very seriously, because if this were ever to happen, this is exactly how it would probably play. Well, not exactly how it would play out, but this is essentially the steps you'd have to go through in order to get off the island if your pilot, for whatever reason, was as skilled as Gerard Butler was. Now, with that being said, if you're ever in this scenario and you flew Spirit Airlines, you might as well jump off the plane when you was going through the storm, because your pilot ain't gonna help you at all once you on that island. It's every man for themselves at that point. Ain't no pilot that dedicated to get their people back, but Gerard Butler was. And look, like I said, the premise of this film they took very seriously, and I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I didn't think they were going to take this movie seriously at all. I thought they were just going to put together a dumb action movie, and honestly, I thought I was going to be either entertained by that and it be really bad, or it would actually be surprisingly good. And it was surprisingly pretty good, guys. Like I said, the stakes in this film are very high. You actually feel like you are put right in the middle of this scenario, and you know you're feeling the same nerves. You're on the edge of your seat as much as everybody else in this film, man. I mean, this movie really does a good job at setting up a lot, and even in the beginning, like way before we get to the island itself, when that plane is going through the storm and Gerard Butler and them are having to figure out a way how to land the thing. Oh, you're on the edge of your seat. I mean, I know a lot of people are terrified of a scenario like that. If you are ever in the air and it's a lightning storm like that and the plane's rattling and things like that, I know that is people's biggest fear. I know that's a lot of people's fear, and the movie plays upon that. Like, you're actually on the plane plays a very big the movie's called Plane, and surprisingly the plane actually plays a very big part in the film itself. And as dumb as that sounds, because look, I know the movie's called Plane. I just thought they were calling it that just because they didn't have any other creative titles to name the film. But apparently Gerard Butler fought for this movie to be called Plane, so kudos to him, actually. Yeah, he actually, I don't know. I thought that was a really dumb thing to fight for a movie title like that, but once I actually saw the movie, I'm like, no, yeah, Plane. That's pretty accurate. Yeah, that's definitely the title for this movie. But yeah, you spend a good amount of the beginning of the film on the plane. Not too long either. It's not like a very long time at all, but you spend a decent amount on that plane, not only being introduced to each passenger like bit by bit. You're not necessarily being fleshed out to each character, but you're getting a chance to actually get emotionally attached to them and the situation itself. And then once we land on the island itself, everything from there, just the action turns up by 2. I mean, everything just gets crazier. And one thing I do have to credit the movie for is the way the action sequences were shot. Absolutely incredible. The camera angles on this thing were crazy. I mean, let's say, for example, if you're watching a hand-to-hand combat between Gerard Butler and one of the bad guys, they're rolling on the ground. The camera would like roll with them and move as if, like I said, it's damn near like a VR simulation. Like you're actually playing this thing out yourself. It's really cool the way they shot most of these action sequences. And like I said, the action in this film is very much earned. Things are not just blowing up for no particular reason. They're not necessarily just trying to shoot their way out of this scenario. They actually have to thoroughly think about how they're going to get out of this situation, how they can contact the people they need to contact to get off this island, and how they can actually sneak out of the place itself, because they're outmanned, outgunned. It's a real, and ain't nobody on this damn island John Rambo, or nobody on the plane was John Rambo, so there's no way they were going to do stuff like that. But towards the third act, I mean, oh my goodness, this thing turned into a whole Call of Duty Rainbow Six Vegas type shit. Because once the mercenaries that they send come into play, oh, them boys are badass. I thought this was going to be one of those situations where they send mercenaries. You've seen those movies where they hype up, the guys they're sending in, like this tough whatever unit, blah, blah, blah. These special ops guys, they're coming in and they're supposed to tear shit apart. They end up getting killed for whatever reason, and it's leaving the passengers to be by themselves. I thought that's what this was going to be, but no, those mercenaries definitely paid off. Gerard Butler did his thing. Mike Colter did his thing. Oh, those two worked really well together. Another thing that I really, really liked about this movie was that it definitely played on the could you or could you not trust Mike Colter's character. Because like I said, he is a prisoner that is brought onto the plane, and the entire time you're trying to figure out if he's going to escape, if you can even trust him, yada, yada, yada. Like, it plays on a lot of that. But at the same time, this movie is just thoroughly, sickly entertaining. Like, it's a lot of fun. I was just shocked the entire time. I had no idea. I keep saying I have no idea why, but it's really because for whatever reason, I feel like I have a vendetta against Gerard Butler. I don't necessarily go in wanting to enjoy Gerard Butler movies. The last Gerard Butler movie I thoroughly enjoyed was probably Law Abiding Citizen. Den of Thieves was good too, but I don't give Gerard Butler a lot of credit for that. I like O'Shea Jackson, 50 Cent. I think his name's Pablo Schreiber, or whatever his name is in the film, but I like a lot of those guys before I get to Gerard Butler. For whatever reason, I'd be wanting to hate Gerard Butler, but I can't, because these movies actually turned out to be pretty good, and this is another example of it, man. It's just ridiculous. Overall, guys, this is a sickly entertaining movie. This is a surprisingly intense thrill ride from beginning to end. You are actually on the edge of your seat the entire time. It is real life scenarios. There's actual stakes at hand. This movie feels very intense, very real. It actually plays out. It doesn't, play on very unrealistic elements that it could have. It really could have went a very unrealistic route at any point in time, but they try their best to stay on the straight and edge and make sure this movie is as real as humanly possible. There's very cool kills in the third act. The third act is nothing but straight intense action, heart-pounding, non-stop, adrenaline rush, straight action. I love the third act so much. This is a very good movie, guys. And for all those reasons and so many more, I'm going to go ahead and give Plane a 3.25 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Look, Plane, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Be sure to comment below, guys. Look, I did a change of shirts here. Yeah, because my mic, I just realized that. Yeah, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a jersey in the first shot and a shirt in the rest of the movie. I'm not the movie. The rest of the review. Look, it's just some technological malfunctions. I just had to put my jersey away. But look, either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and so much more, guys. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.